We're on record.
Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the meeting of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills Board of Adjustment. It is Wednesday, August 5th, 2026, and it's 7:30 p.m. The announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and that it is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 at sec of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. We will have roll call. Mr. Gross.
Here.
Mr. Jaskowitz.
Here.
Mr. Modi.
Here.
Ms. Neglia.
Here.
Mr. Parsippany.
Yes.
Chairwoman Grignani.
Present.
We have our board planner, Mr. Chadwick.
Present.
Our board engineer, Mr. Wallow.
Here.
And our board attorney, Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Would you join our board in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on something other than something other than what is on our agenda for this evening? I see none.
Okay, we'll move on to correspondence. We have correspondence received from Attorney Michael Rubin requesting an extension of time for the applicant to apply for a zoning permit through December 10th, 2027 for approved application 2245, 199, 219 New Road, Block 770, Lots 4 and 5. Is there a motion?
Motion.
We need a second, please.
Second.
All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, and we are going to move on to resolutions. Everyone can vote on these. Application 2619, 7 Madison Road. Application 2620, 160 Allentown Road. Application 2624, 188 Camden Road. And application 2616, 37 Fox Run. Can I have a motion?
Motion. Motion, please.
And a second?
Second.
DeCros?
Yes.
Jaskowitz?
Yes.
Modi?
Yes.
Neglia?
Yes.
Parsippany?
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Grignani?
Yes.
We can move into the applications for the agenda.
Application 26:27, Robin Bazzarano, 233 Atlantic Drive, Block 264, Light 2, Zone R4. A C variance to construct a patio contrary to Section 430-35, columns 9 and 13. Good evening.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You state your name and spell your last name, please.
Robin Bazzarano, F-A-L-Z-A-R-A-N-O.
Just move that microphone closer to you or move closer to the microphone. Make sure it
Robin
fits you.
Bazzarano, F-A-L-Z-A-R-A-N-O.
And you, sir, are you here to testify?
Yeah.
What's your involvement with the
That's my
application?
son.
Okay.
Yeah.
He lives with me.
Okay, all right, well, let's swear you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Can you state your name and spell your last name, please?
Dominic Falzarano, Falzarano.
Ms. Falzarano, I understand you're here because you want to construct a patio, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Can you explain to the board what it is that you want to do?
I'm leaving it to him.
Okay.
So we want to construct a 625 square foot patio in our backyard. That's it.
All right.
Okay, and your lot is a 40 by 100 foot lot, correct?
Correct.
Is that correct? So it's a little undersized for the zone,
Yes.
is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And can you explain to the board why you want that particular size patio in that particular location?
There's already an existing, concrete pad that is out of the sliding glass doors, so, it would need to be there and then, to be symmetrical in a rectangular shape. It would just have, that's where it has to go. And to, allow for the proper setbacks that Parsippany allows. That is why it needs to be there.
Well, the setbacks are 10 feet from the property line, and you're proposing that the patio be located 7 feet from the property line, correct? Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Why do you need the patio at that particular location? That's what I'm trying to ascertain.
The
Why?
only location to put it,
Okay.
because of the
Yes.
fact that I'm gonna rip out the concrete.
And that we're on a regular lot already for Lake Parsippany.
Okay. And I understand that you met with the township engineer.
Yes.
Okay, tell the board about that meeting.
Okay, so, what I proposed and sketched up was a, 10 by 7 by 7 foot hole deep. We're gonna put a, Colt Reach, 330, X, or HD XL, seepage tank in, and then, I'm gonna connect the drain, the downspout leader into that tank so that, it covers the 790 square feet of water, runoff to
Do you have
collect.
some experience with that?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I own a construction company.
Okay, why don't you tell us about your experience doing those kinds of things? Have you done those before?
I have not, no.
Okay,
I know how to do it though, yes.
okay.
Where is it going to be?
It's going to be in the front yard, off to the right if you're looking at the house.
I got the,
From the
I have the
street.
survey in front of me, I have some steps up to the
Yes,
front of the,
in front of the steps,
that little spot.
yes. That's the only spot on the lot that, I can put it.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
The setback of 10 feet versus your proposed 7, is it critical that you can't reduce that by 3 feet?
I can reduce it by 3 feet, yes.
And you would have, the only variance you would have then is your lot coverage.
Yes,
which
the
you're-
impervious
which you're-
space,
Which you're reducing anyway, correct?
correct.
If you agree to reduce it
Yes, I would agree, yes, so
feet and you've got to,
if you would like it to be, for me to reduce it by 3 feet, I could do that, yes.
okay.
Means no setback, I mean.
The setback variance would be eliminated. He would have a lot coverage variance, but that's already there anyway.
Would he need a variance if the lot was properly sized?
No.
No.
No, we're not.
I don't-
Well, he'd need the setback variance.
Right. But not the impervious coverage one.
Yeah, but he's gonna eliminate that.
Reduce that.
So he
I have
wouldn't need
no other
anything.
questions.
Are there any other questions from the board? Is that your complete testimony, sir?
Yes.
Would someone like to make a recommendation of approval of this application,
We're gonna ask
please?
if anybody wants to.
Oh, is there anyone in the audience that has any questions of this, of the testimony that has been given tonight by this applicant? I see none. Is there anyone that would like to speak on behalf of this applicant in favor of or opposed to? I see none.
Yeah, is a very reasonable request, and he agreed to take out the setback front yard. So I'm in favor of this.
And I assume that the condition would be that the final drywall plans are being approved by the engineers.
So the updated letter shows that they spoke to them.
It does show that they spoke to him, but you don't have.
But they don't have the plan, but they're supposed to talk to the engineering department about the plans, and you agree?
They already did, there's an updated,
We're speaking of the letter of July 29th.
Yep.
Are you aware of that letter, sir?
Yes,
Okay.
and then there was an updated one sent today.
Okay.
Said today?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Or maybe,
No, so we have the 29th.
We have the.
or maybe that was, maybe it was dated on the 29th, but it was sent today.
Okay.
I was CC'd on
good?
the email. Excuse me?
All good?
All good?
Okay.
Okay.
Application 26:27, Robin Calzerano. 233 Atlantic Drive, Block 264, Lot number 2, Zone R-4, to grant a issue C variance to construct a patio, uh, contrary to section 430-35, column 9 and 3, in compliance with the engineering department.
And as amended to eliminate this,
And also this request has been amended to eliminate the rear yard.
second Jaskowitz.
DeCruz?
Yes.
Jaskowitz?
Yes.
Modey?
Yes.
Neglia?
Yes.
Parsippany?
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Grignani?
Yes. Application's approved. You will be receiving a letter from the township. At that time, you will apply for your permit. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Lots of luck. Application 26:30, a 5 Grantwood Road, Block 236, Lot 6, Zone R4. A C variance to legalize a 6-foot high fence, 5 feet high solid with 1 foot high lattice, contrary to section 430-11A and B. Good evening, sir.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to
I
give
do.
shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you state your name and spell your last name?
Atul Choatia, Chowatia,
And you're the applicant, correct?
correct.
And what is it that you'd like to do?
I would like to do like, on back side of my house, I want to install 6 feet solid fence.
So you already put the fence in, is that
Yeah,
right?
it's there, like, yeah.
And where is the fence located?
Fence is located like in the back side of the house. So my house is like in the corner of Everett and Allentown Road.
Right?
And that, whatever proposed fence is like about like 120 feet away from the intersection. And,
So it's in what you would probably describe as your side yard, but because it faces Everett Road.
yeah,
it's your
correct,
front
yes,
yard.
yeah.
Your house faces Grantwood, correct?
Correct.
Nature of the house is on the corner, so.
Yeah, it's on the corner, right?
The fence along Everett Road, that's there, and that's not a variance, right?
What?
Fence that runs along Everett Road.
No, that one is along the Everett Road is 4 feet and 50% see-through.
Okay, so
But-
the only piece we're talking about is
Back
that
side, yeah,
little piece
On the grand.
in the back,
Right.
kind of the backyard, side yard.
correct.
Okay,
So in the front, like front and like by my house, it's 4 feet and 50% see-through, and along the Everett Road is 4 feet and 50% see-through. Only I am talking about like in the,
so you got this one little piece over there.
right, yeah.
Any shrubbery between you and your neighbor?
No,
But any plants between you and your neighbor?
no,
There's another fence? Your neighbor has a fence?
no.
Survey shows a wire fence.
No, that one was old, very old.
Okay, okay,
That's to the right of the house facing from Grantwood, correct?
yes.
So if like in the corner of Grantwood Road and the Everett Road, there is a bush.
Oh, okay,
And Grantwood Road is one way,
Oh, that is one way?
yeah. So there is no like outcoming traffic from the Grantwood Road. It's only like passing the traffic from Allentown Road and Everett Road.
okay.
And city engineer, Parsippany city engineer also mentioned there is it does not block site distance at the intersection with Everett Road and Allentown Road, and does not restrict or block access within the right of way.
Are there any questions from the board on this application? Sir, is that your complete testimony?
Yes,
Any questions? Any questions? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to question this applicant on the testimony that is given, either in favor or opposed to? I see none. Would one of my members like to approve A recommendation, please?
Application 26:30, Atul Chawatia, 5 Grantwood Road, Block 236, Zone, Lot 6, Zone R4, recommend granting a C variance to legalize a 6-foot high fence, 5-foot high solid with 1-foot high lattice, contrary to section 430-11A and B.
Second ready?
That was a recommendation, wasn't it?
No, that was
Oh, okay. DeCros?
Yes.
Jaskowitz?
Yes.
Modi?
Yes.
Neglia?
Yes.
Projapati?
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Grignani?
Yes. Application's approved, sir.
Thank-
Lots of luck. Application number 25:71, Rubicon Partners LLC, 2740 Route 10, Block 19, Lots 1, Zone 0T, preliminary and final major site plan with CD variance to construct a self-storage warehouse and outdoor boat and RV storage. Good evening, Mr. O'Neill.
Good evening, everyone. Joseph O'Neill of Pierre Follow O'Neill Ruggiero, here on behalf of the applicant. As you pointed out, we're here on this property which has been in various stages of construction for the last 20-some years. This is to finish off the projects. They're proposing a self-storage facility and your standard self-storage facility. And in the parking lot, they're going to be storing vehicles, both boats and RVs. I have some testimony I can begin.
Is this the office buildings are in the front of it?
There are office buildings on the other side of the property.
Okay, so this is the part that is partially built?
The stairwells.
Right. That's been that way for 25 years.
Just about.
I pass it every day.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? State your name and spell your last name, please.
John Rico, O-R-R-I-C-O.
Mr. Rico, you're one of the partners of Rubicon Partner, and you're fully familiar with the application here before the board?
Would you please speak into the mic?
I wonder if you could tell us, please, what it is you're proposing?
Most people here are aware.
And the mic.
Put it towards you.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can.
just make sure you speak right into the microphone. It needs to be close to you.
How about I raise this?
Just
Yes.
raise
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
yeah.
Excellent.
Now it should be
Thank
good.
you,
Lean
thank you,
down.
Mr. Rico.
Is that better?
That's
Okay. As most people here are well aware, the site has gone through an evolution of development. It was originally approved for 2 office buildings. Infrastructure was put in place for both office buildings, which included ingress and egress from Route 10, parking lot to the west, and a parking lot to the east. The office building was proposed to the east side was never constructed. Stair towers are there. In that location, we are proposing a 100,000 plus square foot self-storage facility with 3 levels above grade and 1 level below grade. On the parking lot that exists to the east, which was already improved with curb and paving, we're proposing to put RV and boat storage. That parking lot was designed for 150 cars for the office building that was to be built. We're proposing 50 RV and boat storage slots. And as most people are aware, the growth of RV use has proliferated in the United States, but most communities don't permit RV storage in front of homes. But this provides an opportunity for storage. Also with boats that are using the lake area, it has access now to store boats and their trailers on the site. With the RVs, it's only for storage. You cannot live in the RV on the site. That's a condition. With the self-storage facility, hours of operation You can access the facility, and it's the self-storage facility and the RV boat storage, from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday through Sunday. The office hours are from Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and on Sunday, from 10 to 5 p.m. We've hired StoreQuest, which is a nationally known management company of self-storage facilities, to be the management company for this. StoreQuest is national, they build their own as well as do third-party management, so we have brought in professional management for this project.
Mr. Rico, I just want to not correct, but highlight something you were talking about before, which is this property being approved with the office buildings. The property was actually subject to deed restrictions and a number of lawsuits, at least a half a dozen lawsuits over the years, but they've all been cleared out now, right?
That's correct.
The restrictions for various parties were removed by various court orders over the years. The last restriction was vested with the township. The township passed a resolution voiding that restriction, which is why you're here today.
That is correct.
Well, Mr. O'Neill, can I just interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
I think the issue of whether or not there are valid deed restrictions on this property is really not before this board.
I would agree.
That may be the subject or may not be the subject of any ancillary litigation that may or may not occur, but it's not relevant to this board's determination with respect to this application. Whether there are or are not deed restrictions really has nothing to do with this application before the board, which needs to be judged on its own merits, regardless of whether there are or are not valid and enforceable deed restrictions. Would you concur with me?
I absolutely agree. I did want to highlight why this hadn't been developed. So, you're going to have one management company operating the self-storage building,
And the RV and tow area,
both together,
both together.
and they'll be responsible for access to the RV and boat storage lot.
That is correct. The RV area, boat storage area will have a security gate and security cameras monitoring activity within the area. And the self-storage facility also has its own security operation.
Will how will the fencing be? Will you come up Route 10 and see the RVs, or the boats when you drive
As
up
you
10?
come up, well, let me clarify, coming up Route 10, driving on Route 10, you have the line of trees along Route 10 that block a lot of the view of that upper lot. You come into the parking lot, you drive up the access road into the site, you'll see.
I'm familiar with it, very.
Good.
I have
So
no
when we-
further.
Sorry. So when you go to the access road, I guess you meant to say like then you can see RVs and.
Right, when you come up the approach road into the site, you'll be able to see.
But driving up Route 10, will it be fences
Yes,
or
well,
fence?
it's-
How high?
Well, we can have the professionals speak to that, but there's a dense growth along Route 10 on that site with very mature trees.
There's plenty of seats up front.
Attention, please.
Please.
Sir, if you just
Please
talk
don't
into
interrupt.
talk into the microphone, please.
Make sure you're talking to the microphone.
Yes.
So you were saying,
So I'm saying, so there's mature growth of trees along Route 10. We have no intention of taking them down. All right, and right now you can't see that parking lot from Route 10, but you drive it every day too.
yeah, every day,
Yeah.
3 times a day.
It's all deciduous trees, correct?
Pardon?
It's mostly deciduous
That's
trees,
correct.
so half the year you can and half the year you can't.
I agree.
If you're coming down 10, if you're on the westbound lane,
Coming down, now if you come westbound lane, both buildings will block the view of that area
well,
as you approach
I
it.
debate that.
All right.
You know what you will.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Do we have any?
I have a question, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
please.
So one of the comments in Mr. Lemanowitz's July 29th report related to the potential for RV owners to work on their vehicles. Will you prohibit that activity?
Yes.
And how will you accomplish that?
It'll be part of the requirements within the lease agreement for storing your boat or RV in that location.
But you have nobody manning the facility to enforce any such action, right? Who would notice that they're doing it?
Well, during business hours, you'll have somebody manning the
Yeah, but
facility,
at night
and there are
you wouldn't.
cameras aimed at the parking lot there so they can see activity there. And the cameras are on all the time, so if somebody is doing something, we'll have
Excuse
to
me,
find out.
Mr. Orico, you did say, if I'm correct, Monday through Friday, the hours were 9 to 5?
That's
Am I
correct.
correct?
Nine to 6.
9 to 6
6.
during the week, Monday to Friday, and Sunday 9 to 10 PM.
From 10 to 5.
10 to 5, right. Saturday, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. Sunday, 10 to 5.
So
People can
the
get this
storage
at 9 p.m.
in this lot would only be boats and recreation vehicles?
Correct.
Nothing else?
Nothing else.
So if the board approves this, you could provide a lease, format of the lease, what your restrictions are and what it can be used for.
That's correct.
How are you going to, well, you're not the manager, so normally people who have boats will go start them up once in a while. Are you gonna, what are you gonna do?
Exercise their engines.
Huh?
They'll exercise their engines on site.
Is there gonna be water in this facility?
No, so they won't be able to cool their engines if they start them, especially on a boat. Most of them are water cooled.
Will they be covered, plastic covered?
It's up to the individual owners. Most of them, a lot of owners get shrink wrapped boats when they store them for the winter.
Are they on blocks?
Pardon?
Are the boats on blocks?
They're on trailers.
They're on trailers.
And the trailers, every boat will have to be on a trailer?
Somebody out in the open.
Everything here is gonna be licensed and registered.
So, everything will be out in the open? The boats, you're just lining them up?
Yes.
The trailers and the boats?
Yeah.
Or campers and boats?
Fluids within the boats?
I'm sure you're gonna have a traffic engineer,
Yes.
because you have trailers and the boats come at accessing in and accessing ingress and egress.
Correct.
And that's not so easy to get in there, because I worked there. I did work there.
Okay, our engineer will speak to the modifications we're making to the site plan.
Excuse me, John would like, Mr. Chadwick has a question.
Who will testify as to the maintenance of these boats at the site, particularly the fluids that most likely are gonna get changed?
I believe the testimony is they're not gonna be maintaining them. They're not gonna be able to start the motors. They're just storing the vehicles there. So they're not gonna be doing any maintenance.
So you're gonna put in the lease that there will be absolutely no maintenance? Means the guy can't wax his boat, he can't do any of that normal things that boat owners do.
Can't work on the boat.
Is that the answer? They can't do that?
Well, you can't do
Mr.
any,
Rico.
no, I don't think anything prevents somebody from waxing their boat, but there's no water available on the site, but you can't do any engine work repair on your boat on site. You can't do any engine work on your RV on site. You can't drain oil. You can't do all those things that would create an environmental issue. Of course, the last thing we want as property owners is to have an environmental issue.
So that would be included in the draft lease?
Because there's all homes
Yes, behind us.
right behind you.
Mhm.
That's why I said, what kind of fencing are you putting up?
Mr. Rico, is that the,
Okay, thank you.
complete your testimony?
Don't go
Are there
anywhere
any
yet.
questions from our board on Mr. Orico's testimony? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on the testimony, ask questions of the testimony that has been given? Please come up.
Is there a microphone there? Again, this is your opportunity to ask questions of this witness
And his,
on the testimony that he has given.
Does that include what his attorney said?
You need your name and address.
My name is Bernie Clark, and I live on Flintlock Road in Morris Plains, Parsippany, this is right behind this development is behind my house and a lot of my neighbors.
You
So,
have a question for this witness?
yes. I have a copy of your application in my hands right now. On that application, question 1, pardon me, is, has there been any previous appeal to the Board of Adjustment or to the Planning Board or litigation involving the subject property? If so, state the character of appeal, date of disposition, and outcome. Your answer, and I say you in the corporate sense, was not to applicant's knowledge. Now, what I just heard said up here, they have a lot of knowledge about all of our deed restrictions and other court matters that happen. So I would say this application is not telling the truth.
Okay, with respect to whether there are or are not enforceable deed restrictions, this forum, the Board of Adjustment, is not the forum in which to decide whether those are enforceable or not. Those deed restrictions are irrelevant to this application. If you or somebody else believes that they have an enforceable deed restriction, there is a forum in which you could pursue those rights. This is not that forum.
What I said was that an application was prepared and submitted to you and signed by this company that made a false statement, not to applicant's knowledge, and they do have knowledge. So I would think...
So what is your question of this?
My question is, does the board accept applications that have false statements in them?
Well, sir, the question is, your questions are directed to this witness. You have a question for this witness.
Why did you fill out this questionnaire saying that you had no knowledge of legal matters? So legal decisions and other matters that were about this property.
These are ancient decisions that you're referring to. They're over 25 years old. So we did not include them as part of this. And as far as any site plans or approvals, all that time, I am completely unaware, as is the applicant, of any approvals.
So that's your answer.
Accept that? It's not true.
That's your answer to the question. So you have another question.
Do you remember that in 2008, which is a lot less than 25 years ago, we had a lawsuit about this?
No. Again, sir, I've explained.
not
Whether there
with this
are or are not valid and enforceable deed restrictions is not for this board to determine. There may be another forum in which you can assert your rights, but this is not that forum.
So,
Is there anyone else? Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr.
so
Joshua.
I just have a question. I'm a little confused. So we just did a couple of deed restrictions on family houses with the intent on preventing a three-family house. In 25 years, is someone going to come in front of this board or other, I guess this board, and say what this applicant is saying? I'm a little confused why we are hearing a case where our decision might be null and void. Why is it that we hear the case before that a decision hasn't been made on the validity of a deed restriction or not, right? And I guess it goes back to, is the same thing going to happen to the deed restrictions that we request to grant an application? It's a little confusing to me. Could you explain that a little bit to me?
These deed restrictions were released in 1975.
Whether that's true or not, Mr. O'Neill, is irrelevant. You may be right, you may be wrong, I don't know, but it's not up to this board to determine whether those restrictions are valid. So you have a complete application before you that you are required to rule on one way or another within a statutorily set period of time. That's why you have to decide this application pursuant to any extensions that the applicant might give you. So you have a complete application that you have to decide. Whether an applicant decides to go here first and get an application approved or denied, that later he might be legally prevented from implementing because of some other instrument, is not relevant to your determination.
Could somebody stop us from having the hearing?
Could someone go to court and potentially, but
Okay.
again,
It's not a
that's
problem.
That's not-
not your issue to decide.
Got you.
It may happen, it may not happen. I don't know the answer to that.
Mhm.
It hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
There's no legal restriction for you to hear this application
Do
and
you-
decide it on its merits.
Got you.
Mr. Johnson, do you mean to say that this application is complete and acceptable for us to move on?
Otherwise, you wouldn't have it on your agenda.
Okay, thank you. Okay, proceed.
Is there anyone else in the audience that has a question of Mr. Arrigo's testimony only? Please come up. May we have your name and address, please?
William Hammond, 120 Flintlock Road, directly behind that property. My question is for you, sir. You said RVs and
Hold your mic up.
you said recreational vehicles. Because that, and I know, I see other storage spaces, they have quads on trailers, motorcycles on trailers. I mean, recreation vehicles are recreation vehicles. So you could start up a motorcycle or anything like that because you don't need water.
Well,
Yes or no?
the answer is no to that. The recreation.
No, it's a yes or no question.
Well, he's trying to answer.
I'm sorry.
Give him a chance to answer.
I'm not trying to argue with you.
No.
Just make sure you use the microphone.
Okay, there's a general definition of what a recreational vehicle is for motorhomes, you know, with the number of wheels, whether they be towed or driven, right? And that's what we're seeking permission to have on the site. It's not for motorcycle, I rode dirt bikes, right? It's a recreation, but I didn't consider it a recreational vehicle. You know, recreational vehicles are particularly fun.
So a recreation vehicle is a recreation vehicle. Correct. The other question is, I saw that you said that there's trees blocking the road up there. They're deciduous trees, which means more than half of the year, there's no leaves on those trees. So you can see everything in there. Is that correct?
We'll discuss that with a later witness.
No, I'm sorry, I thought you
He
were asking him the
acknowledged that
question.
they were deciduous trees.
Okay, so I'm just
That
saying
you would
that's
be able to
correct.
see through them in the winter.
All right, the other question was, I know, I just been talking to your engineer about the offset. Obviously, my house is less than 30 feet from your property, and you want to bring that closer to my property. And I didn't hear how you say you're gonna cover that up. Just, I heard something about fences, you could see it from one place to another, but I looked directly into that property, and if you're coming closer, is that what you're saying? And the RVs are in the back?
Do you have, what's the question? I'm sorry.
The question is, how far is he coming closer to it? And he mentioned fences, and I think I heard someone say, how big is the fence gonna be? And your statement was, well, there's deciduous trees. Is that the only privacy that?
I'm sorry, I don't know where your property.
The question, first directly, it's a big red brick house, that was durable.
So the site is not being expanded. The site exists, the curb line is in place, the paving is in place. We're not increasing the curb area, and we're not increasing the pavement area on that upper lot.
I guess I misunderstood the application, because the application says you're going for a variance to reduce from 70 feet to 31 feet. So I don't know what you're talking about. Could you explain that to me, please?
We'll have our engineer go over that.
That's probably a question best left.
For the engineer. Okay. So we talked that recreation vehicles are recreation vehicles. You don't have there's no specification for what a recreation vehicle is.
No, he said it's the generally accepted definition of recreational.
So it could
vehicle.
be basically what we, so it could be a motorcycle, it could be a quad.
No.
How could not be? It's a recreational vehicle.
Let me
Correct?
interrupt 1 second.
The board can put a specific terminology with regards to that. We could put that on any.
I thought there was no RVs allowed in that zone, period. I mean, not at all.
What
Basically, it's like in my face.
what they're proposing is
That's
use,
not a question, I'm sorry.
is a use variance, and you're right. They're not, this kind of use is
And
not
it wasn't a
supposed to be
question,
there.
I'm sorry.
Let me ask you, Joe, is there any way that we could get a draft, lease agreement so we know, get these
Right.
terms just pinned down?
I don't see any problem with that. We'll be able to
I
provide
think it
that.
would be important to
Yeah,
deal
I
with
think that is.
what can go on there and what kinds of activities are prohibited.
Yeah, it's no problem.
We will get that for you.
I think that
The
would-
the security and that items are all site plan issues, but the others are not.
Any other person would like to speak?
She's been raising her hand. She could come up.
Ask questions of the gentleman's testimony only. Yes,
Okay, just state your name and tell us your address.
Hi, Louise Wickman, 60 Powder Mill.
Do you have a question of this witness?
Yes, I do. Lighting? What type of lighting are you proposing? I mean, we're at my grief. Since I live on 60 Powder Mill, that other unit, you get a lot of lights. So I'm curious, I'd hate for everybody else that's in that neighborhood to be opposed, to have that shining in there. So what type of lighting will you be having?
Our next witness will get to that.
Oh, great. All right, the next question is, the size of the recreational vehicles and the boats. Do you have size limits for those that can be stored there?
The largest lot is 35 feet. 70% of RVs that operate in this country are 35 feet.
And what about the boats?
Boats would have to fit in the same slots.
Okay, and then there's no building going to go in, it's going to be just a big parking lot, correct?
Correct.
And are any of the well, I guess the RVs couldn't be, but would the boats be stacked?
No.
No, okay. And has there been a study yet done on the traffic flow and how that would, you're going to be answering that one too?
That'll be
Okay,
later.
okay. All right, so, and then how are you going to be enforcing people not working on their RVs and their boats? Will there be someone there like going around and kicking them out? Because I know having a unit right near me, there's people working there all the time with music going. They even had a fire. So I was curious how that'll be maintained. Uh-huh. So there'll be someone there all the time?
Testified to the hours of operation, but if anyone does anything against the lease agreement, the lease can be terminated and they're required to remove themselves from the site.
All right, and then one more question. Okay, good. One more question. Since the whole place is going to be fenced in, or whatever, will you be having like an emergency exit towards the back of the facility that might go into some of my neighbors' backyards?
No.
So the only entrance and exit will be off of Route 10?
That's correct.
Okay, because I know on the other unit, there's one that goes into a backyard so just wanted to double check. I think that's it. That's all my questions. Thank you.
So I have a question. So you said the boat or whatever has to fit into a space. Could someone buy 2 spaces and put in a bigger boat?
Not longer than 35 feet.
Well, if you bought 2 35-footers, could you put a 50-foot boat in?
No, because then you're in the drive aisle.
So there's no way to get around what fits into the size. You can't get 2 spots. You can't get 2 spots and have an oversized vehicle.
No, because you gotta get around the site too, so.
But you have to, exactly, you have to be able to turn in the site, you have to be turned into the site, so it's all designed to accommodate the 35.
My other question is, what happens if someone has a boat and they want to get started at 4 in the morning to get down the shore? Can they go and get their boat?
No.
It's locked, and they will not have access in there.
Correct, until 6 a.m.
Until 6.
Will there be any kind of office for somebody to be in during the day there, or no?
Well, the office is in the self-storage facility with cameras on the RV boat area.
Will those cameras be monitored off-site when someone
They
is
can
not
be.
there?
Can be or will be?
Can be, will be, yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Look, that depends on the management company. They're a national company, they have national monitoring. So you can rent space online, they can monitor the space online. Headquarters for them is in California, so they're set up to do a fair amount.
So it's the owner of the property's decision whether he wants to pay for monitoring or, I would say, active monitoring.
Correct.
Right? One, you could pay and just, you heard someone was there, you go look at the tapes.
Yeah.
Well, one is, it's going on now, I'm going to.
To a security operator.
Right. So if one of the restrictions was that the board wanted, would we want that the upgraded package, let's say, that if it was being monitored, that they would have to address the issue there and not just roll the tape? Would you be in agreement of that?
I would have to talk to the management company before I agree to that.
Okay.
So is the management company gonna testify?
No.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The management company going to testify.
Okay.
And how many spots did you say were for trailers and boats?
50.
So it could be 50 trailers, it could be 50 boats, or a combination of
Could be a
both,
combination of both, right?
and the recreational vehicles.
Yes.
The management company is primarily a management company of self-storage or a management company of this kind of a lot, or both?
They do self-storage and RV and boat storage facilities. They do both. They're a national company.
Anyone else in the audience? Please come up.
Come forward and use the microphone, please. State your name and give us your address.
My name is Ray Susser. I'm at 97 Quintlock, right behind you guys. Something I just don't understand. You said on the rear belt that you're not going to affect anything curb, and there's a road that's on the backside.
Please use the microphone.
Use the microphone.
You said on the, you're not, with the buffer space, you're not going to affect any of the curbs. And there's a road that runs in the back that's obviously a curb. And so now you're going to reduce the buffer from 70 to 20. And I just can't visualize, how could you, you basically want to put your building in my backyard. You're basically trying to put your building in my backyard.
Our next witness will testify to all those dimensions.
Okay, well, it was on the application.
I know.
Okay,
And he'll testify.
okay.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to question this applicant on his testimony only, please?
Aaron Boots King, I live at 77 Flintlock Road.
I
and
apologize, state your name again.
Aaron Boots King, 77 Flintlock Road, and the business is right behind my house as well. I have a couple questions. So the hours of operation for the maintenance of the storage unit is going to be 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. So, or 9 p.m., right? 6 a.m. till 9 p.m.?
6 a.m. to 9 p.m. access for the public to get into the facility.
Public who are renting there or just public?
Who rent it?
Okay.
They'll have access codes to get in when the office isn't open.
Okay. And that's Monday through
Sunday.
Sunday,
Sunday. So it's 7 days a week.
correct.
Some 6 a.m. till 9 p.m. That's late. And then on Sundays, it's 10 a.m. till 5 p.m.
For the office hours.
for the office hours. So you're going to have one management company running this, right? How many people are going to be working in that office, managing that whole site? Watching that people aren't in their RVs living, that people aren't in there working on them? Like, how many people are going to be watching this?
Well, the management company staffing is going to be, depending on the hours, 1 to 2 people there on a regular basis. They have a manager that floats between the sites as well to relieve anybody who's on vacation, and they fill in.
So 2 people. And then if something is going wrong and somebody is living in their RV, then the management company is going to call the cops, or they're going to evict them. Are they going to have their rental agreement revoked? Like, what's going to happen to them if they don't follow the rules?
Well, if they don't follow the rules, they're noticed that they have to follow the rules. If they don't comply, their lease is terminated. They're in default of their lease.
How long is that going to take for you to get them out? I mean, we have to live next to these people. So if they're in there, like, living in their RV and they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing, this is like, right next to Ray's house, right next to our house, so it's like if people are in there in their RVs, like an RV is like a traveling home. So how are we going to prevent them from lowering the quality of Old Powder Mill, Stickland Museum? And we have this RV park there, pretty much, is what we're going to have in there.
So is the question, I think you have.
The question is, like, how are you going to take care of those people who are not following the rules?
You terminate their lease, and if they don't comply, you then bring in the law.
You're going to take care of it on the law side, and try to take them to court and get them out and all that stuff. Squatter rights, all that kind of stuff, things like that.
Well, there's no residential rights to living in a storage unit or an RV. When they terminate it, you're off the property.
Well,
It's not like being in an apartment.
I don't agree with that.
Well,
Okay.
that's the way the court,
That's the way the court should, that's the way it should be, I understand that, but it's not quite the way it happens in a neighborhood.
Right.
The question is, how would you go about enforcing it?
Can I
cancel the lease and call the cops.
Well, I was gonna ask that.
Yeah.
Is there, will the police have access into the area? Will they have access to go in, drive through and come out?
Oh, absolutely.
Title 39?
Yeah, they'll have code, and I'm sure they'll want the code.
Yeah,
to-
well, that's what I'm saying.
As well as the fire
because
department will
they
want
be
the
able
code.
to,
Right.
to make sure.
So it's not a civil matter, it's actually, you're gonna have to get them out, it's not gonna be a civil matter where we have to like go and get involved in that.
No, they're out immediately.
All right, also, so you said that you cannot see the RV park that would be coming down Route 10, and like my neighbor said that, you know, when the lights, like when the leaves are out, you can't see them, that's fine. But in winter, it is just open, so you are going to see it. And the lights that you guys have currently are LED lights that shine into our backyards. They're on till 10 p.m. now. So that is a question, is we were asking about the lights. So how long are the lights going to be on if the hours of operation are from 6 a.m. till 9 p.m.?
We're going to cover all that with our next witness in detail.
Okay. Let's see here. Flintlock Road, so you're gonna have the RV parking right next to Flintlock Road. So I know we talked about Route 10, but Flintlock Road is the road that's in the neighborhood that we're going to be seeing all of these RVs and boats. And if they are not required, are they required to shrink wrap the boats?
No.
Are they required to cover their boats?
No.
So we have a lot of animals in our neighborhood, a lot. So how are you going to prevent animals from getting in there and burrowing and doing things if people leave food in there? I mean, it's just going to attract, I think, nuisance like rats and mice and all kinds of things like that. So how do we not have that invasion in our neighborhood?
Your management company has experience
in that, correct.
So they'll manage that?
They'll manage it, they'll control.
And they'll watch that on the cameras?
Yes.
And they'll walk the site.
Okay. Well, we don't want poison because we like the deer. We don't want to poison animals. That can't be, that could be part of it. Let's see here. Management people. Oh, how are the management people, when they're done working at 9 p.m., how are they going to prevent the people from maintaining and working on their RVs and boats or being there if they're done at 9 p.m.?
Well, they have to patrol the site, before they leave, and clear everybody out who is
And that's what the management company said, you know that for sure, the management company does that?
their responsibility to manage the site.
Agreement, we asked to see that agreement.
Okay, so that's later, after we see what that agreement is, then we can see what they're gonna do? Okay. Let's see here, covering the boats. Oh, the 3-story building, where's that gonna be located? Up in the front, down by the office building, where is that gonna be located?
So it's in the exact same it's in the principal footprint of the building that wasn't constructed. There's towers there right now. There's footings in place in that location. That's the location.
Is that gonna have like a color aesthetic? Is it gonna be like a big orange building? Like, is there anything that has to do with that? Because our neighborhood is,
Let's talk about that.
our neighborhood is a historic neighborhood of Stickley Museum. Stickley Museum just put a lot of money into that neighborhood. They just rebuilt a new education center. They just rebuilt their whole mansion. They've have revamped the whole thing. And that is the neighborhood that you're talking about putting a boat and RV park in. So
Got questions?
that is my last question.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on the testimony given by Mr. Orico?
Ask questions.
Ask questions only. I see none. Thank you.
Thank you. This is public, right? Okay. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name and spell your last name, please.
Paul Much, M as in Mary, UTCH, from Stonefield Engineering.
Mr. Much, can you give the board, please, the benefit of your experience?
Certainly. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey, and my license is in good standing. I've graduated from Rowan University with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. I've been practicing the field for roughly 15 years with specific experience on applications similar to the one you'll see this evening. And I've been accepted by more than 100 land use boards in the state of New Jersey as an expert witness.
So I present Mr. Much as an expert for civil engineering purposes.
He's acceptable.
Thank you, Mr. Much, for giving that. Could you please walk us around the site and tell us what we're looking at?
Yes, I will begin with an aerial exhibit that was prepared by my office on August 5th, 2026. I'm going to refer to sheet 2 of 2. It's kind of the zoomed in version and is kind of similar to the site plan that we'll move to next.
So you want to mark that?
I believe that was previously submitted.
This aerial exhibit was not previously submitted, so we should mark it as an exhibit.
That would be A1 for this.
So as you've heard on this...
Can you just write A1 on there with today's date, please?
Yeah.
Okay, you can go. Great.
So as you've heard this evening, this project is somewhat of a history to it as far as the last 20 or so years. It has remained undeveloped, and this project is a redevelopment. It's a kind of a completion of the development that was envisioned 20 plus years ago and built 20 plus years ago. As you've heard, the site consists of an office building and parking, which is located on the western side, kind of page left on that exhibit that you're looking at. We kind of cut it off, but it's an existing office park there, an existing parking field to the west. There was an additional office building and a parking field that, the parking field is installed. You can see that on the right-hand side of the site. And the office building was partially constructed and has remained that way for some time. And we're going to look for a reuse of that site as it exists today. Access is currently provided off of Route 10 in a right-in, right-out driveway. There are some modifications we're making to that driveway that you'll hear about in the application this evening. And the existing site has its own host of historical approvals as well as existing nonconformities with regards to zoning. And you'll see that in the professional's response letter, but to some of the comments that we've heard today, there is a front yard setback that exists on this property. The existing office building is closer to the road than is permitted, and closer to the road than what we are proposing. In addition to some of the neighbors' comments about the buffer, the entirety of this development will remain inside the existing limit of disturbance. There is no extension of the parking area in the northeast corner of this site. The curb line along the top of the property will remain, and any curb line that is reconstructed in the same place at a different elevation. So,
Could you just pause for 1 second? So the driveway that you're talking about, are there access easements with the other lots on that driveway?
It's all under one ownership.
It's all under one
The whole
ownership.
site is under one.
And you
ownership.
noticed 200 from that entire site?
Yes,
Okay.
You mean the adjoining office site as well?
condo.
Okay.
It's all one, there's no other access to the road. So it's all coming through here.
So it's all common ownership, and you noticed 200 feet from the entire lot?
That's right.
Okay.
So when we say the entire lot, what shows on the aerial is not,
That's not the entire lot, that's a portion of the lot.
Okay.
There's a section where the
Clear.
office building is, it goes all the way to the cross street.
right, okay.
So I guess my question is, although the border is not changing, for lack of a better word, is the action getting closer to the neighbors?
I don't know the definition that you're using for action, but the parking area is not moving closer. The parking area will be utilized,
So there's
where
a
it's where it's
parking
not.
area there now?
That's correct.
Okay.
There is no new pavement where there is not pavement today.
But
no one's there now.
A 35-foot
Right, and no one's there
RV
now.
parked there compared to a car,
Yeah, yeah.
and 35, and when you back it in, and
Yeah.
it's up to the curb, the hangover is gonna be a lot further than a car.
Well, first off, it's not an RV park. They're parking
I
and
said
storing
parking RV, storage. You know, I know.
Just making sure everybody knows.
Mr.
They all
O'Neill,
know.
the variances on the setback for the parking lot and the buffer, the planner will deal with that? Or the
Yes.
engineer?
But the planner will certainly give justifications for those conditions, but even the number you heard, that 30-foot number you heard from the residents already, that number is not changing. That's an existing dimension to the existing curb line that is not changing as part of this application. So there's no encroachment. We're not pushing pavement further. We're not removing any of that wooded buffer around the edges of the site. That will all remain the same. We are, and you'll see this as we move through, regrading that parking lot, sprucing it up a bit, bringing it back to a useful thing for the uses that we are doing, but nothing occurs outside the existing limit of development that is there today.
Mr. Chadwick, I should advise that the notice that was sent out without reliance on the existing structures or parking lots that were there. Because of the age of the development, I couldn't find anything on the original approval, so I just noticed it as a new application. So we're noticing if the buffer is interfered with by the existing parking lot, I noticed it as if the parking lot wasn't there.
In your research, did you find any authorization to go into the buffer on the original approvals?
I couldn't find the original approval. Mr. Bowen did it, yes.
Are the curbs already there?
There are curbs existing today, yes. It's fully curbed, pavement, drainage improvements, all of that in that existing lot that's there today.
And those are all going to remain?
Yes, well, some of the ones up front, we are regrading. We're going to raise the front elevation a bit, but the back is staying almost identical to what it is today. We're actually introducing a new landscape island back there, but in the rear, it's staying substantially similar to what's today.
So coming, the front of Route 10, you're grading up.
Yes, that grade will increase along Route 10. That's correct.
And there'll be parking, boats or RV there in the front, or I'm trying to picture.
Yes, and I'm going to put up the next plan. Let me do that, and we'll get into that, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll move to what I'll call Exhibit A2, and I'll describe it when I sit back down.
I was trying to picture it.
Yeah, let's give you a picture, and we'll go from
Okay.
there.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Mutch, please mark that as A2.
Why don't you
Yeah, I
just?
tried to angle it
Yeah,
so everybody can
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Okay, I've marked that exhibit A2. It is a site plan rendering exhibit. It is simply a colorized version of the site plan that was submitted. The content, everything is the same. We just added color as well as the landscaping to give the board an idea of what we're looking to do, at least in the 2D sense. And our architect will show some 3Ds and some elevations of what we have this proposed as well.
So those would be for the back.
So now we were talking about the extent of the parking.
Yes, so the extent of that parking. So everywhere that you see along the edges of that upper parking lot in the northeast, the existing curb either mimics the exact location, or the proposed curb mimics the exact location of the existing curb, or is pulled in. You can notice at the top, towards Flintlock Road, there are some additional green areas that we're incorporating up there, but that actually adds green area and pulls the curb away. But again, all of that wooded buffer that exists today, that mature wooded buffer along those sides of the property, will remain as they're installed today. Similarly, along the frontage, you can see that there's that existing densely wooded area. I won't call it densely wooded, but there is a wooded area along the frontage that we're also not clearing that out to clear visibility. That's remaining with just a little bit of at the edge where we've realigned the driveway, which I'll get into, there's a couple of those trees that'll be trimmed up a bit.
All those trees will be there in the winter.
No, I understand that. That's why I don't want to overspeak on the density of it. But what I'm saying is that this application is not proposing to clear cut the frontage to open it up. So what you exist today and what you see today through the trees, you'll see in the future is essentially what it is. Well, yes, there's a parking lot there. I understand. So what I'll do is I'll get into what the proposed condition is, and we can keep answering questions as we go. So what you'll see is on the, what we'll call the western side or the page left side is the state-of-the-art self-storage facility. And then you have your RV/boat storage area in that lot to the east. And essentially this development in our minds, and we'll go through the stormwater as well, is split into two, where those are kind of two separate entities, how they interact with the engineering of the site. The self-storage building is both similar in both size and scale to the office building that's to its direct west, as well as what was envisioned there when the office building was approved and partially constructed. It's in essentially the same footprint with some modifications. Obviously, it's not the same shape as the building that is next door, and it's actually not as tall as the building that is adjacent. And there is some discussion in your board professionals review letter with regards to how we are defining the height. From our engineering standpoint, the way we've looked at the application, we feel that we comply with the overall height, the number, the distance above grade, in both the zone-specific building height, as well as if you calculate it the way that the general zoning does, we feel that we comply with both. And I can get into that as we move through the application. But the important piece is that the size and scale of the self-storage building is the same footprint, and it's actually a little bit shorter than what the office building directly next door is installed as today.
So you're not asking for a variance for height?
We are not, but there is...
We are asking for a
Well,
variance.
yeah, I was going to clarify that. For the physical height of the building, there is a restriction on the number of stories, where it's 3 versus 2.5. So the 3-story office building, as well as our building, exceeds that.
Okay.
Does our engineer have anything to say on that?
Yeah, that's what he does.
You can talk about it now or later.
Yeah, we just wanted clarification on how you calculated the building height. I know there was a discussion about the parapet at the top. We looked further at the architecturals. It didn't look like that was an issue, but it was the overall height, how it was calculated around the perimeter of the building.
Yeah, so there's essentially, and I'll just discuss it quickly with the board to bring them into some of those conversations. So there are 2 building height definitions in the ordinance. There's one that's a general building height that applies to most applications, and that measures the average grade at an extension of 6 feet off the foundation line. So it's essentially, if you were to build your building on like an anthill, you take the definition lower to kind of fight against that. In this zone specifically, there's another building height calculation that references the existing natural grade, which is essentially what is the grade of the site today compared to what the proposed height of that building is. And we calculated as the the site-specific code, which the elevation of the existing natural grade is 1 foot below the first floor elevation of our building. So essentially, we took our building height, added a foot to that to extend to the natural grade, and to the roof line, and that calculation came in under the required 35 feet. I think it's 33 feet 4 inches, and that excludes the parapet, which is 4 feet, which per your code does not count towards building height if it's 4 feet or less. So that total height of the parapet is 36 feet 4 inches, but it's not included in the building height calculation per your code. And it's important to note that the building next door, per our survey of that building, the elevation above the grade on there is 42 feet for the office building. So we're a little bit lower. We feel we comply. If you measure it with the general building height definition, it adds about 1.5 inches, 2 inches to the height when you get away from our building foundation. We would still comply in that ordinance from our interpretation. I'm not trying to step on your engineer's toes by any means. But that's how we went.
You did variance for stories.
Certainly do, and the discussion with your engineer determines, there were some questions on the overall building height.
That is a height.
So does our engineering agree that they do not need it for the height?
They wouldn't need it on the calculated height, but they would still need it for the number of floors.
Okay.
That's correct.
And I think we would ask that you be able to provide those calculations in a follow-up.
No problem
just
at all.
to confirm.
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. Good. Okay.
So on a question on the southern part of the parking lot, which is like, I'm guessing there is nothing there, and that's to be built?
The existing condition?
Yeah, existing.
There's an existing parking field there today.
Okay, so there are no trees.
There are trees, I'll stand up.
So can you point to where the trailer and the,
Grab the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can grab the mic.
can you point to where the trailer and the, boat parking is going to be?
Certainly can be. So this area is where the boat and RV parking is. There's an existing parking field that is essentially the exact same shape, size, scale as what is shown today. This area that you see along Route 10, that area is existing trees from the aerial. None of that is being cleared out. It's going to remain. There are some added trees in here, and there's a little bit of a, there's a nub that we had to do, and I'll talk about the realignment of the driveway. There's a little bit of a nick we take out of that, but the bulk of it's maintained along the frontage.
Because it's a hard turn into that area.
Yes, and that is something that we've discussed with the DOT as well as the applicant for what we're trying to do here. It's a little bit different than an office, obviously. So we've made amendments to that driveway to ensure safe and efficient access for all vehicles. Our traffic engineer will certainly get into that, but that driveway is being modified in a couple of ways, and I'll just go into it now. We are extending the radii as you come in and out of the site, which will require a DOT permit, which is currently in process, to make sure that all vehicles can get on and off the site without having to cross into opposing lanes or anything like that. In addition, in the existing condition, the driveway is sort of next to the left. And if we left that where it would be very close to our self-storage building, which we don't want. And then having a direct, straight driveway on the site is an ideal scenario for just safe and efficient movements for all vehicles, because you get a decision point at the end of the driveway. You're lined up at a stop bar. It's a T intersection. It's very natural for a driver to handle. And that decision point occurs 225 feet into the site. So from an access standpoint, that's as good as you can do, and that's as safe as it can be. You get 225 feet to orient yourself to the site, look around, come to a controlled stop, look, and then make whatever turning movement you're going to make, either into the RV storage or to the self-storage or to the office building that's to the west.
So there's only, all right, so that's all parking for the RVs and that. To the left, there's only about 10 spaces for people to park if they're going in the storage unit, yet how many storage units are there going to be?
So there's 14 parking spaces proposed, like vehicle parking spaces in front of the self-storage facility. And there's 2 covered loading spaces that can accommodate box trucks and larger vehicles. You could park a pedestrian vehicle in there as well if you want the covered area. It's up to you. Now, from an industry standpoint, typically for these self-storage facilities, we are in the 1 per 10,000 square feet to the 1 to 12,000 square feet for the number of parking that's sufficient for a site like this. This site's actually parked at 1 per 7,000, so we're above the industry standard. And the reasoning behind using the square footage of the building rather than this number of storage units is that the number of storage units and the way that this site operates, and I'm probably stepping on my traffic engineer's toes a little bit here, there's not an increase in intensity with the number of units. This is a very lazy use. So the square footage of the building, the industry standard, we exceed it. And we feel very confident that the 14 spaces proposed is more than enough.
So just for the record, like, how many spaces do we have?
14.
No, parking spaces are 14 versus the self-storage unit. How many units do we have?
I don't have the exact figure. The architect will give you the figure on the final unit count.
Okay. And going back to my original question, so on the southern part of that
Yes.
RV, so that area, so there is something so there are no trees there? Is that
No, there are trees. So I'll spring up. This is the existing condition on Exhibit A1. The trees and the curb line exist today.
Okay.
So we are making some adjustments to the height of that curb line, but we're not making any adjustments to the location. So all of those trees along the frontage will remain.
Okay.
How do you lift that site and not affect the root systems on the trees?
Everything will be built up on our side as far as the wall is constructed. And we can maintain those because we don't have to go deeper to get what we're trying to do here for those trees.
Is the wall shown on the site plan?
The wall is shown on the site plan, yes. And as part of your board engineer's letter, they've requested, obviously, design drawings that validate all of that, and we'll absolutely submit that.
Where's the existing retaining wall that's referred to in Mr. Lemowitz's letter?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's in the rear.
Yeah, there's
On
an
the rear
existing,
driveway.
there's an existing retaining wall along the rear drive aisle. Again, we're not moving anything along that. We're not changing the elevation, so that wall will remain as is.
He made a comment about the condition of that wall.
Certainly, and the applicant, we discussed that prior to the meeting. They're going to have it inspected. It's kind of under a joint maintenance agreement for the site, but they'll have it inspected. If it needs to be replaced, it obviously will be. But their interpretation currently is that there may be some maintenance needed, but the wall is in good condition.
Are you gonna talk about the location of the fencing?
Yeah, I can get into that now, or
Yes.
we're asking the question.
Traffic engineer will talk about movement of vehicles on the site.
Yeah, certainly, yeah.
My last question until
Yes.
here is, so somebody mentioned like the elevation of the, let me stick to just the RV parking side of it. So elevation is gonna be, like, any change in elevation?
Yes, there is a change in elevation.
How much?
Let me grab my grading plan real quick, just so I can get you the right number.
Because that decides like, so right now, from Route 10, what's the scenery today, what's this on foot?
Yeah, so there's a 2 to 3 foot increase along that front property line and along that front tree line. And the reason for that is we've regraded this site to essentially maintain the upper portion, but we've flattened out the lower portion a little bit just to make it a little bit more usable. That slope is pretty pretty steep, so we're just raising that front edge to make that a little bit more usable for our customers. There's also the added benefit of, but to dig out the basement for this building, there's going to be a lot of extra soil, so it naturally, goes hand in hand with the development.
So am I correct saying that on the northeast side of the parking lot, there is no elevation change?
Yeah, that's correct. It's almost identical.
So, and that's where all the residents are?
Yes, so there's a little bit of an elevation change on this side, but the rear of the site, there's nothing significant, and there's no walls that extend beyond the front. There's like no new walls or new major elevation changes along the existing wooded buffer on the sides.
Is there any residence on the more east side, which we can see it in this picture, but is there any?
Where is the Flint Road?
That's in the back.
What I'll do is I'll just refer to sheet 1 of 1 on Exhibit A1. It's the aerial exhibit where I have a zoomed out version.
Thank you.
So you can see the roadway.
Hold on, can you just mark that?
Yeah, it's still part of Exhibit A1, it's just sheet 1 of 1, or 1 of 2. There's 2 sheets to that original A1. So now I'm referring to sheet 1 of 2. So you can see this is the whole site that we were talking about, the entire site that we're looking at, and the residential is up and to the north and to the east.
So what is immediately to the east of the site?
Residential home.
That's accessed off of that, is it Flint Lock?
Flint Lock, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right
correct.
behind it.
Yep.
There's a peacock back there too.
Oh, was that Manor? Oh, okay, you're right.
Wait, no. We just have to keep the record clear,
Yeah.
so I'm sure you're gonna have questions later, just save them for when it's your turn to ask.
Yeah, they were correcting.
Okay.
So, did you mention that on the east side, where there is a residence, couple of residents maybe, the elevation is changing there?
Very slightly, not in a way, not as much as, and there's like a 2 to 3 foot change along the frontage. You're talking plus or minus 6 inches, no wall, no removal of trees, nothing like that.
Going up or down?
Up, it'll go up.
So the water will stay on the property or it's gonna run off?
Yeah, and I'll get into the stormwater system, but everything is on the property and conveyed to the DOT conveyance system that runs in Route 10.
That's all existing, right?
Yes, and we're enhancing it, which I'll get into.
Some of the structures are changing locations, just based on
Certainly
the
are, yeah.
modified driveway.
Yes.
But it's following the same drainage pattern.
Mhm.
I just had a question regarding the grading of the parking lot. There is a note that says the surface slope 2.5% is to be maintained. That might be in like one very specific area, but there's a lot of other slopes within the parking lot area, so we'd like
Yeah,
to be able
that's
to clarify on the plans.
We can soften that language. It's more of a target of what some of the RV storage is looking for. If you get in that range, it's a little more usable for certain vehicles, so that's what we're looking for. Yeah.
Have any questions from the board?
I've got more testimony. I was just
Sorry,
answering
continue,
questions.
please.
You made a comment as to the RV industry, and what the grade should be within the parking lot. Are you within that standard grade?
That is the purpose of the regrading of a portion of that lot, is to either get within or closer to that grade to make it a more desirable area to park
What
for
is
the
the
management
grade?
company.
What is the grade?
The existing grade is like a 5% slope, and a portion of the parking lot will be reduced to 2.5 or 3%, which is a little bit better for the storage of some of these vehicles.
Yeah, parking a big RV on a 5% grade could be tricky.
Yeah, it's obviously doable, but you work with what you have as far as the existing condition.
And that's one of the reasons we're going to need a major soil moving permit?
That's correct, yes.
We'll get into that a little later.
There's not a proposed access, a third lane to access into the property.
No, and I'll let my traffic engineer get into the
That's gonna-
specifics of the DOT improvements.
Yeah,
She has it all under
There are
control,
awful
so.
long vehicles to be coming out, too. That traffic going up Route 10 is nuts. Believe me, I'm in it all the time. They're speeding all the time.
Accusing me of speeding.
Yeah, and I'll leave a little meat on the bone for my traffic engineer, but she'll explain how that driveway will operate.
She'll need to explain it.
And she's very good at what she does, so she'll be up soon. Shall I continue?
Sure, please.
Excellent. So I think we talked about the general circulation. We got into the access, which I'll let my traffic engineer get into a little bit more as we move through. There is an existing sign that's located along the Route 10 frontage. There's no changes proposed to that as far as monument signs for this tenant on this application. And you'll see on the architectural testimony as well as their renderings what the proposed building mounted signage is going to look like. I think we've gotten into a lot of the parking and loading. What I'll just say is it's designed to accommodate every vehicle that we expect on this site, from RVs and boats to box trucks that people may rent to load stuff into the self-storage facility, as well as emergency trash, all of your typical vehicles as well. And our traffic engineer will get into that as well. I'll talk a little bit more about the landscaping, just to give a little bit more detail on what we're planning to do there. Yeah, landscaping and fencing. So at the current application, we'll just start with the fences, because I know I heard that question, is that the upper lot, the RV and boat storage lot, is going to be fence and gate controlled. So there's a fence proposed around the exterior of the site. The current proposal is sort of that black chain link fence, so it kind of disappears into the distance. But I've discussed it with the applicant. If there's portions of or opaque fence that's desired, something they're open to discussing with the board and the residents, so we can certainly get into that as we go. But that upper portion will be fenced. It's important to note that the majority of that parking lot sits 10, 15, 20 feet lower than the road. So anything that existing buffer is there today, and anything we do to add will be a benefit.
Where's that fence located?
It's located around the edge of that curb line.
Could you point to
Oh, yeah,
this?
Please.
So that fence line encompasses the full, we'll call it the circumference of that parking area.
And that's where the police would have access into that.
Yes,
area.
there's a.
Paul,
No.
it's got to be recorded.
I get you. So yes, so around the circumference is security fencing, to keep everything under control. And then at the main access, there will be gated control, which is where the codes come in, where the access is restricted after hours, that sort of thing. So it's not a free flow of traffic. You'll have to have a code. It'll be locked after hours, and all emergency services will have access to that gate at any time.
There's no access through the back.
No access through the rear. There's a single access to the site, which is existing and being modified.
How high is that?
What's the height of the
Okay,
fence?
what's the height of the fence?
The height will be 6 feet, 6-foot fence.
So they can jump the fence.
You dragging a boat that's 30 feet long behind it. Could have a good sized car, Suburban, something like that.
I'm sure, but.
There are, along the frontage as well as along the driveway, there are shade trees and shrubs provided to kind of revamp that corridor a little bit, as well as try to maintain the aesthetic feel as you drive into the site. The existing trees, per my landscape architect, along the edges of that driveway are an invasive species in New Jersey and are recommended to remove them. So what we've done is we've replaced them with red maple trees that are a little bit more stately, a little bit larger. They're spaced out a little bit more, as you can see on that site, but they should grow in and be really an aesthetic tree that is, you know, more in line with what we're looking for at this site.
And that's on either side of the driveway?
Yeah, so that's in the center, along the edges of our driveway, along the frontage of the site. There's also some like shrub plantings there to kind of just bring a little bit of character to the front of that building.
Excuse me real quick. You mentioned that the fence was 6 foot height. The plans say 5 foot height. I just want to confirm.
I think the intention is 6 feet, but
okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's any zoning relief associated with 6 feet. 6 feet's my natural inclination.
All right, so we'll amend the plans for 6 feet.
Whichever's proposed, just need to know which it is.
Yeah, understood. So moving into the grading and the stormwater, I think we've basically covered what we're doing with the grading as part of this site, as far as, you know, some of the grading amendments. But from a stormwater management standpoint, we worked extensively with your board engineer on just how the design was going to line up. And essentially what we've landed on in total concurrence with the current NJDEP rules as well as their green infrastructure is basically this lot is being treated as 2 separate developments from a stormwater management standpoint. So the eastern lot, the RV and boat storage area, has existing inlets and pipe conveyance that's taking the existing pavement and discharging it out to the DOT system along Route 10. That will continue to be the same in the proposed condition. We're realigning some of the pipes and the inlets to align with what the development looks like today, but essentially the stormwater runoff is exactly the same in the proposed as the existing condition for that portion of the site. For the new portion of the site, for that self-storage building, we are upgrading the stormwater management system there to provide both water quality treatment of pavement located along that building, as well as detention and retention of stormwater on site to reduce the peak runoff rates in accordance with the newest DEP rules. So to achieve this on this site, we're proposing a pervious pavement system in the pavement to the north of the self-storage building. That pervious pavement system will treat the pavement in that area for water quality. It will also accept roof runoff, which is clean runoff, into it. It will hold that water back and reduce the peak runoff rates going to the DOT system. So essentially, we have an entire development that was designed without any thought to the current DEP regulations, because it was done 25 years ago. And for the self-storage portion, the self-storage building portion of this site, we're fully upgrading it to current DEP rules. We'll comply with reductions, water quality, and everything there. So it's kind of a state-of-the-art green infrastructure system for that portion of the site. Certainly be a benefit for the site itself, as well as the downstream conveyance system that runs along the highway. Lighting, I know there was a couple of questions about lighting as we're proposing this as well. I think it's important to note that there's existing lights that are along the retaining wall, along that treat area right behind the self-storage building. Those are going to remain as is. There's wall lights proposed on the building that are 15 feet high, and they shine down on those parking spaces. In addition, there's 4 area lights proposed in the RV parking area. Those lights are 18 feet in height. All of these lights are LED, downlit, dark sky compliant lights, and there is no light spill beyond the extent of this property, and that is a conservative value because we have not taken into consideration any of the buffers along. So we essentially model as if it's just grass out to the property lines, and the majority of light is held to the curb line, and any light spill goes to absolute zero before it gets near any property line on any side of the site. As you've heard, the facility will close overnight at 9 p.m., and the lights there will likely turn off at the same time. Usually you give your employees about an hour to get off site. So around 10 p.m. when the office lights turn off, you'll also have lights turning off here with some sort of security measure allowed for some low-level lights, just to make sure that it's secure, obviously, like the office building, but nothing that would be noticeable after hours.
Could you note where those lights are on that plan?
Certainly will, yes.
4 lights in the RV parking area?
We'll get up and point again. So we've centralized those lights to the center islands. Around the light, we've directed them away from any property line. There'll also be backlight shields on all of those. The LED lights are kind of easy to control in that way, to control the backlit. So all of that light, basically the main lighting area is a circle around the center. There's some light levels that drop to near zero at the curb lines and then zero as you move into the grass and towards the property lines. There's also wall-mounted lights mounted on the back of the building that shine down. They're pretty low. And then there's existing lights along the rear that are going to remain as they are today that exist for the office center.
How tall are those lights along the rear of that retaining wall?
These, I don't have the exact height in the survey. I can say that our proposed lights are 15 feet, and the lights in this parking lot are 18 feet. They sit, between 10 and 15 feet below flintlock, so there's going to be like kind of that natural buffer. They'll be sitting pretty low there, and we've tried to direct everything away from the property lines
Do
here.
you know if there's spillage on neighboring properties with the existing lights on the retaining wall? Do you know if that occurs now?
I have not performed a night study at this point. The applicant certainly could do that. I'm not sure what light spill occurs from those lights. What I can say is that our model shows that we're not exacerbating that condition if there is anything.
Right. You're keeping the same thing that exists now?
Yeah, there's nothing that shines beyond what's there today. We've tried to centralize everything.
Even the existing ones, they don't shine towards the neighbor.
I haven't done a study. I don't know what goes beyond those lights, but our proposed lights are intended to maintain all light on site.
So if the existing light on the site shines towards the neighbors, are you gonna recommend fixing it?
I haven't done a study, so I don't know.
Are you gonna do a study?
That's up to the board.
I think you need to do a study.
Yeah, we can walk the site at night and get existing light levels. Coming to the end, I'll just summarize with utilities on the site. The utilities are pretty straightforward for this. As far as sanitary sewer connection, there's an on-site main that we'll be connecting into. So it's a low volume use. It's very limited use of the bathroom, so not any kind of significant load on the on-site system or the downstream system. Water is provided from a connection at Route 10. There's a valve there today that we intend to reuse, and we're also relocating a fire hydrant to align with the new driveway at the northeast island at the top of the driveway. So that's part of the application as well. Electric and gas both come from Route 10, publicly available for the site. So with that, I'll wrap up. If there's anything I've missed, I can certainly answer it, or we can open it.
I do want to hear a little bit about the soil moving on site.
Yeah, so the soil movement on site, and this will apply to our major soil movement permit, is primarily driven by the fact that we have 3 stories above grade and 1 story below grade. So that dirt that's under the existing site, kind of within that hill structure that's there today, will be removed to build a basement. It will then be used as fill to raise the front of the site in the RV and boat storage area. That's the majority of the movement. There'll be some amendment of the grades in that parking area as well. So there'll be some movement of existing soils around in the upper lot. But the most significant soil movement that we're looking for here is basement to the RV and boat storage area.
So you're not taking soil away from the site?
That's not the intention, no.
How much soil are you moving on site?
I would say I can do the calculation. I don't have it off the top of my head.
When you just looking at the area, it looks like the footprint of the self-storage building is about the same size as the area you're gonna lift a little.
Yeah, how
deep you gonna go then?
I don't have the exact height. We'll have to ask the architect what the depth of that basement is, but what we've calculated is essentially a balanced site from a soil movement standpoint for the amount that we're lifting it, in the area that we're trying to do it.
Well, with the board's permission, I'd like to take a little break so he can get me that number.
Like easy calculation, the basement has to be 10 feet.
No, how deep they're going to go?
Let's say 10 feet.
No, I don't.
No.
Just need a little minute to get him to.
Chairman,
have a little.
could we take a 2-minute break anyway?
Yes.
Always up.
5 minutes?
Good.
5-minute break?
Thank you very much.
You know what, my father.
We're back on record.
First time I'm using it. First time I used it. Yeah. I know how to do it, right?
I got gavels.
You don't need my glasses?
I have my own. Back on the record, thank you. So we were doing calculations regarding total amount of soil being moved on the site. What'd you come up with?
Yep, so the basement of that building, that footprint, it's gonna be roughly 10 feet below grade. It's gonna be about 9,500 cubic yards of soil movement from the basement to the other side. And there will be some soil that comes off the site, I think. We'll have to see where we can spread it out, but it's about half of that total is gonna be used underneath that parking area. To your credit, it's just naturally you kind of look at it, you can see it that way.
So the rest of that would go off-site, and it's right there on Route 10.
Yeah, that's correct.
No trucks to the neighborhood, nothing like that?
No.
Yeah, there's no access and there's no reason, yep.
And the soil will be tested, right?
Yes, yeah, they'll have to comply with all the regulations that are associated with soil removal, absolutely.
How I would like to know when they're doing the construction, taking all that soil out, how the rest of the office buildings are going to dump in this little exit road, going in and out. Because there's only one access in and out to the property.
Yeah, there'll certainly have to be construction logistics as part of that, because we're also realigning the driveway. So the applicant, as part of their construction effort, will have to come up with an agreeable construction plan that allows for the free flow access for the office building. And that's going to be part of the management conversation on that side.
Mr. Croce, you probably know this, but for the benefit of the other board members, the residents of that office building are not a shy bunch, so they'll definitely be involved.
Well, I do know that. Well, the one company I worked for a while, so I was in and out of there.
So,
Yeah.
Testimony?
That is the end of my testimony, direct testimony.
Did you do any soil testing in that area? Do you know what you're going to dig into or not?
I don't have anything out on hand currently.
No, they've done no testing.
I'm just getting into whether you're going to need blasting on that.
No, there is geotechnical evidence. There's no blasting needed as part of this.
Really?
Yeah.
Does our board have any other questions?
Yeah, well, nothing showed up in the geotechnical. That's
On the other side of town of Melbourne was blasting.
I have some items I'd like to just go through if we could.
Please.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you had read through responses to a lot of the questions in the letter, July 29th letter from Tom Lemanowitz. Just wanted to touch on a few things. So, major soil moving permit application will need to be submitted. Just want to put that on the record that it will have to be applied for.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's prepared and we'll submit it.
Okay. A tree removal permit would also likely be required, for any I know there's not a lot being taken down, but there
Yeah,
would be
same status. It's prepared and ready to be submitted.
Okay. And then one other item related to permits. Has there been any documentation submitted to NJDOT regarding an access permit?
Absolutely, and our traffic engineer will take you through it.
Okay. Just first on those items. I know we would like at least a response in writing to the various questions that were brought up in the letter. I know a lot is being touched on in testimony, but I think just for a condition of approval, that type of thing, that everything is responded to.
Absolutely, that's our standard practice.
Would you be able to provide testimony about any existing utility within the 10-foot wide water easement that the proposed drainage is proposed to cross? If there's anything there now currently?
Yeah, I can absolutely do that, and we've surveyed that. So there are utilities that are located, there's kind of two easements along the frontage. There's a DOT easement as well as a water easement. We will verify the height of that water to ensure that the new stormwater measures that we're doing, they're going to be deeper just from an engineering standpoint, but as part of the construction drawings, we'll have profiles that show the exact separation. We'll obviously have to work with the water company as well as we move in and around those utilities and make those connections. But all of the proposed stormwater is either at or below the existing, so we shouldn't have any clearance issues.
Okay. A moment. We talked about some of the retaining walls. You said that structural calculations would be provided for the proposed retaining wall, and an inspection would be provided for the existing wall, just to be...
Yeah, that's correct. And the intention is for those wall design drawings to be a building permit item unless there's any objection to that.
I think that would be acceptable. Another question regarding grading. The critical slope areas, there was a note that said there's no newly undisturbed critical slope areas to be impacted, but the ordinance does not differentiate between slopes that are or are not previously disturbed. So I think that we would like to see calculations as to ensure that the slope disturbances meet the ordinance requirements.
Yeah, we can certainly do that.
Okay, we want to review those. Regarding the drainage design with the pervious pavement, you've labeled overflow inlets. Would you be able to describe to the board the purpose of those, when they would be in use as it functioning as an overflow inlet?
Yeah, so the pervious pavement system comes with a pretty direct set of parameters that you're looking for. So there's like essentially 2 layers of pipes. There's a under drain layer in that pervious pavement system that as the water filters through to the bottom, it's given a place to leave via an outlet structure. In addition to that, there's actually a network of pipes towards the upper layer of the pervious pavement where those overflow grates, which are essentially just inlets, accept water and then recirculate them in these perforated pipes at the top of the system to continue the filtration and the storage of that water. It's kind of functions similarly to a leach field in a way. And then as the water rises for your larger storms in there, there's an outlet control structure that would allow water to leave the site if it were ever to get to capacity.
So the overflow inlets would be when it's reached capacity, it may.
Yeah, so if you get a very heavy rainfall, there's occasions where the pervious pavement can't absorb all the water that fast. So that would flow naturally. It's graded just like you would a typical parking lot to those inlets, so it could be captured, recirculated, and then head off the site. So that's basically the function of that, just to ensure you're not getting a lot of ponding and heavy rainstorms.
So it's the form of like emergency conveyance.
Exactly. It's if the pervious pavement, which is obviously pretty restricted because it's just essentially water flowing through the aggregate of the asphalt, if that can't handle the rainfall that we're getting, some of the pouring rain that we've gotten recently, the inlets take it to a pipe system that allows it to drain into the system underground.
Would you be able to provide testimony as to how the porous pavement basin area below the subgrade will be protected during construction to isolate it so that it's not completely filled with sediment prior to even being put in use?
Yes, certainly. Typically, when you're doing these types of basins, you would install the stone base and the filter fabric around it to protect it, and then hold off on the paving of it until you're pretty close to construction. So there's a construction effort there. There's construction specifications for the pervious pavement that once the stone is installed, you have to provide filter fabric along all sides, just so there's no exactly that sediment, silt, anything that gets into the stone base that would take away from the storage. So it's kind of a construction logistic question.
And that's to the rear of the self-storage facility?
That's correct, yes.
That's also the main driveway access to the existing office building.
Yeah, so when that basin is installed, there'll have to be a phased approach where they essentially build half of it at one time to allow access and the other half at the other time. I'm just like, that's just my general opinion, but they will have to maintain access to the office building as they go through construction. It will require logistics and some thought, but certainly something that's achievable.
But they'll work with all those office buildings.
Yes, absolutely.
Logistics are funky.
Is the applicant gonna own this property or?
Do what?
They lease it.
Is the applicant leasing this property or the?
Yes, he's going to be leasing the property through the management company for the operation of self-storage and the storage. Yes.
The applicant owns the property.
But he owns the property.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Any other questions?
I don't have any further at this
Any other
point.
questions from the board? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak? Questions only, sir?
We have which one you want first.
Oh, let's,
Where you go?
we'll go with this
Just
gentleman.
make sure you identify yourself again, please, name and address.
Yes, I don't. It's William Hammond, Hammond, at 120 Flintlock Road. I own a company called Global Paving, and we construct this type of stuff all the time.
Questions of this
Yes,
witness?
the question, first question was for you. Do you have a RV parking lot next to your house?
That's an inappropriate.
Inappropriate question.
So the question is, you said almost no change? Almost no change was your statement? And you said this part is going to change by 6 inches, and this part's going to change by 3.5 feet? So does that mean that every single bit of the asphalt has to come out?
All of the asphalt's being replaced, that's correct.
So actually then this whole section is totally going to get changed? So the part that you said that's pre-existing, that's not like less than 70 feet, once you take it out, you're going to reinstall the curb in the offset area, is what you're saying?
I'm having trouble understanding your question. So
You're taking all the curbs out. All the asphalt's coming out.
most of the curb is coming out.
Well, if you're changing it by 6 inches, you have to take the curb out.
Yes.
So you're taking all the curb out. Is there any way to do
Again,
this?
I'm being clear.
No, I'm trying to ask him if he's taking all.
I'm trying to answer.
One question at a time. Okay.
So as far as all of the curb, some of the curb around the perimeter is going to be maintained, and that's towards the rear, towards Flintlock Road.
And that's the section you said was going to change by 6 inches.
That's not the section that's going to
That's
change
what
by
you said
6
before.
inches.
Is not?
What we're referring to is farther south and east, where the retaining wall is at the southeast corner. There is a grade change that extends essentially up to that central parking area. So from between, let's say, as you start at the very corner, it's about 2 feet, and as you get to that central parking field, kind of where that curve ends, that's going to be, that's going to connect into existing. So it's going to go from a 2-foot change,
I was going to say, excuse me, could you please show us what you're referring to?
Because you know what you're talking about, and we don't know what.
Yeah, so there's going to be a 2-foot change at this corner, and then that is going to feather back into existing conditions at this point. So essentially, the grade returns to the natural grade that is there today at this point. So there is a change in grade along this curb line. So that curb will be removed. It will be regraded anywhere between 1.5 to 6 inches of grade change, and then 0, obviously, as you get back to natural grade.
So there is no grade change on the west side of the parking lot?
There is a grade change on this side. I'm
Okay.
just speaking specifically to this side.
Got it.
This area of curb is to be maintained.
No
because there's
change.
nothing changing.
No change.
Yep.
And so I thought you said 3 to 4 feet. Is that when you said it before? 'Cause I wrote it
Yes,
down.
along the maximum, along the frontage, it increases in height. It's not a consistent height. It's a maximum height on this side, and it slowly gets closer to grade as you go towards the end of the wall.
So the question is to you, if it's past the allowed spacing, why would you not bring it back to where it's supposed to be, being redoing everything?
We're reutilizing the existing parking lot. That's what
I'm
the
sorry,
intention
I
is.
thought you said you're tearing all the parking lot out.
Yeah, we're replacing it in kind.
So you're not reusing it?
We are
Is that
reusing
correct?
the parking area, but we don't need to argue about.
No, the question was, why would you not move it back to where it's supposed to be, so you conform to all the variances?
Because the engineering alternative here is to reuse the existing, it's an adaptive reuse of an existing parking area.
I'm still confused, because that was a 2-foot variance on people on their patio, just, all they had to do to make the variance work was just to move over 2 feet. I don't understand why he couldn't bring it back, so there'd be more of a buffer in that area.
It's possible, but for the adaptive reuse of this parking field that's existing, this is what the proposal is.
And you said a pervious paving, what type of pervious paving system are you planning to use?
The intention is to use a pervious asphalt pavement system.
What percentage of water goes through that?
I don't have that figure off the top of my head.
And if this is pre-existing, and it's from 25 years ago, we are changing the grade a little bit, isn't the water calculations have to be brought up to the date, to new, or they still can use the old 25-year-old calculations of water retention?
That parking area, and we had this discussion with your engineer pretty extensively, so when, in the current rules of the NJDEP, a redevelopment of existing pavement does not require the upgrade to a full development upgrade. So that parking field and the proposal in front of you, in conjunction with conversations with your board engineer, complies with current NJDEP rules as it regards to redevelopment.
And just 2 other questions. So I think, does this get buffered from the back? Obviously, my house is back here somewhere, that a 5 or 6 foot chain link fence is going to do any sort of privacy.
Well, and that's the discussion we were having, is that there's a new 6-foot chain link fence for security. I believe there is like a existing fence that's in the woods. We can remove that. We weren't factoring it into this application. The applicant is open to making portions or all of that fence opaque for additional screening. But essentially, the way we looked at this is because we're not taking away any of the wooded buffer, we were trying to make that fence disappear with that black chain link. But if the residents that are impacted by this application want to see something different, the applicant is agreeable to that.
Well, Flint Rock is higher than the...
Yeah, that's correct. It's
So
roughly
how-
10 feet higher than the site itself.
You're not gonna be
Some of
able to-
those houses sit
Do you keep
below
saying
grade,
roughly?
below the road.
Roughly, I don't see those numbers.
Let's stick-
roughly.
let's
That's,
stick to
the other question was, yeah, how tall is an RV? How tall is a boat?
Right, that's how.
No, it was a question, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have the exact figure for that.
Would it be higher than 6 foot?
Yes.
So,
Well,
yeah,
wait,
so,
sir, we're trying to.
so these things could
It's
be,
important that we maintain a clean record.
okay.
So,
So it's possible that the fence will be lower than the RVs and the boats that are parked in there.
That's definitely what's going
And
Yes.
I know back 25 years ago, they did have pine trees back there, which are basically all gone and dead. So the only plans I see on your landscaping are just these few trees you're putting here that do nothing for the privacy anywhere else?
Yeah, so
Is that
the,
true?
what one of our responses to your board engineer's question, that exact question about additional buffering, our landscape architect reviewed that area. There's not really areas that you can plant additional trees within the existing tree canopy that would survive. Essentially, those tree canopies, anything you tried to plant in there, would not thrive in there. So we're absolutely open to having your board professionals, our landscape architect, go and target specific areas where maybe it's a little bit more bare. If there's dead or diseased trees, replacing those trees with something else. There wasn't an ability in that area to just like plant a big evergreen hedge because it wouldn't survive the existing tree canopy.
Is that because you agreed to let the town forester take a look at it?
Oh, yeah, they would
We
walk.
would accept that recommendation.
Yes.
Is that
Whatever
because you
that
don't,
recommendation would be.
I think you have to wait till you get a determination from the board as to whether or not the buffer that exists today and the buffer under this proposal are going to be the same.
Understand
If they
that.
are not, then you may have plenty of area to put evergreens in.
so if you went to that, the question is, if you went to that 70-foot offset, that's the variance you're going for, you would have plenty of room to put that, bushes and trees in there.
Yeah, but we're reusing the existing extent
Which are all
of the
dead, we know
existing
that.
lot.
The other question, you said 14 parking places? Aren't two for the employees, because you said there's two employees there all the time?
Yeah, whenever we look at the calculations for parking, and again, I'm stepping on my traffic engineer's toes a bit, the calculations for appropriate parking for any facility, commercial, self-storage, the employees are factored into that number. So the 14 spaces that we propose here exceed the industry standard for a self-storage building, and that includes when employees are using those parking spaces as well.
and your traffic engineer is going to go into that in detail,
Yeah,
correct?
Yes.
because we haven't heard how many, storage units
units.
are in the building.
There's a
so-
lot of,
Yeah, there's more testimony to come on the intensity of the use as it regards the parking and traffic that you'll hear from our traffic engineer.
And with just one other question, I know if these cars pull in backwards to unload their cars for storage, what is your plan to stop the headlights from going into the houses into the road that's straight ahead of it?
Well, there is a retaining wall and a wooded buffer that is along the rear of the property.
And the retaining wall is higher than a truck? Because I said.
I believe
think
so.
you
I
said-
can get you the exact height. It's a little bit small here, but let me see if I can pull it.
And also, just the last little thing, that you said the
Let him answer
pre-existing.
the question
Oh,
that's on the,
I just didn't take notes.
he's trying to answer your question.
Yeah, so that retaining wall in the rear is somewhere between 3 and 5 feet. And in addition to the trees, I think, you'll have pretty sufficient amount of headlight glare block there. And again, and you'll hear this from our traffic engineer, it's a lazy, infrequently used use. So the nuisance of a headlight glare here is definitely reduced over, a commercial use or something like that.
So you're saying people aren't going to be using the storage facility very much?
No, they use it
you're
more
not gonna-
spread out. So and you'll hear again from our traffic engineer, the traffic generation of a self-storage facility is substantially less than a retail commercial use. So
Well,
it's,
why don't we save it for the traffic engineer?
yeah.
Fair enough. I didn't see where the garbage container is standing.
Dumpster.
Is that somewhere? The dumpster?
Yeah, there's not a dedicated dumpster shown here, and that is a function of the use. The users of the self-storage facility are not allowed to throw away boxes, trash, anything like that. So any trash that is associated with this facility is office, bathrooms of the office, so it's very limited. An exterior trash enclosure is not needed for this type of use.
So there's no dumpster?
There is not an exterior dumpster proposed, that's correct.
Where do people just put their coffee cups or the boxes and stuff?
There will be, any customer of this facility has to take in and remove their materials, and there'll be garbage cans in the office that collect, minor waste that would be more akin to residential than, a food preparation place that needs a dumpster.
So the town's taking the garbage away, or you have a,
There'll be a private hauler, and it'll be coordinated with a private
so
pickup.
there has to be a dumpster? But
No,
garbage
there's
is,
no outdoor dumpster.
so, all right, so I understand, so there's no garbage, method of taking away the garbage right now. Is that correct?
No, there's no outdoor dumpster. They're taking away the garbage with a private hauler. Is what he just told
Yeah, the garbage will be stored inside the building in things less than those large dumpsters that you see in a trash enclosure.
Is that the same response?
So the dirt that you
RV
calculate?
boat lot?
Yes,
Right.
There will be no.
no dumpster, which would be an attractive
Any kind
nuisance.
of trash receptacle at all.
They have to haul it off, don't they?
They have to take it with them.
Yeah, customers do. And then the ancillary things that you would just generate as a residential use, think about the residential cans you have at home, those are stored inside the building.
I know you mentioned about the amount of dirt that's being removed. Isn't the drainage system, is not a lot of the dirt has to be calculated for that to be removed too?
The amount of soil movement and removal on the site does not have an impact. Oh, are you saying with the basin? Is that what you're
Yeah,
getting
you
at?
said you're building a basement, so you have more dirt you have to take away, more than 97.
Yeah, and I extended that number a bit just to cover ourselves. But yes, there will be some soil removal for that basin system as well. I think it's about 3 feet of stone. I'd have to look for the specific number. But as we redevelop the site, excess soil, it's yes.
And the only tree, do you have another landscape plan that's going to address, so this doesn't look like this? Or is this, this is the max of the planting?
Yeah,
you
so
plan
the
to do?
testimony that I provided is that the proposed trees are more
Just-
substantial and larger, so they'll grow to 35 feet wide, 35 feet tall. They'll provide a nice stately tree along there. And they're just in replacement of, there's an existing trees that are lower line that are pear trees that are invasive to New Jersey. So our proposal is to provide more substantial shade trees. But obviously, we are happy to work with the forester, with your board planner, anybody that has an opinion on what the trees should look like along the frontage as well as the driveway.
But right now, it's just the 6 trees that are not doing anything for privacy, just on the property.
Those trees are not intended for privacy. Those are an aesthetic tree for the entrance to the facility.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to come forward?
Yes, I would like to.
Just identify yourself and tell us.
Daniel King, I live at 77 Flintlock Road, right behind this property. So you started with, this completes the vision from 25 years ago. 25 years ago, did they intend to put a storage facility here?
It completes what I was referring to in my opening, is that this completes a development that this site was envisioned to be developed, and this completes the development that has been laying in sort of ruin for the last 25 years.
Okay. My question was, 25 years ago, did they intend to put a storage facility here?
They intended
Don't
for
have
an
any idea what anyone did 25 years ago.
Well, they built a foundation and a stair shaft, did they not?
Yes.
They did.
So what was that for?
So the answer I would give for that question is, as we move to our architectural testimony, I think that visual of what that building looked like will give you an idea of what the vision for this project is. I was just speaking as an opening when I was talking about the vision of the site, but
Right, but I'm allowed to ask questions on whatever you said.
That's fine.
right.
Okay, so that's what I'm doing.
And I'm clarifying.
So you don't know what this building was intended to be? That was here?
Intended to be an office building, as far as we can tell.
So what kind of office building?
We don't know.
Well,
don't
it
have the
wasn't the
specific-
sister to the building that's there now?
Likely.
I don't know. We don't know.
But
How do you not know? You have
Because
the
we don't
foundation
have the
plans.
application.
But you have the foundation plans. You're an
I
engineer.
understand that the foundation is similar in size and shape to the adjacent building, and we've mimicked that with our proposed building.
Well, that doesn't look anything like that building.
The footprint itself, yes.
Okay, so what's the elevation of the top of this building that's there now? What's the
The
elevation
existing
of
building?
the existing
To
building?
the height of the parapet, it's 42 feet.
Not the height. What's the elevation?
The elevation of it?
Yeah, not the height of the building, off of some arbitrary distance to the ground. What is the elevation of the top of the building?
Give me 1 second to do the math.
Like above sea level?
I understand, yeah, just give me 1 second. It's at roughly elevation 715.5.
Okay, what's the elevation of the top of the parapet of your new structure? Was it 715 was the existing?
Yeah, 715.5. Wait, hold on, let me make sure I have that number right too. Yeah, 715, and then our building would be at elevation, and I'm going top of, the survey of the building that I'm referring to is the actual top of the building, the top of the visual building.
Yeah, to the top of the parapet.
Yeah,
of
so
this
it's,
building,
yeah,
the highest
for
point.
both of them. So the
Right.
original was 715.5, and the proposal is for 710.3.
Or it's less than that.
So yeah, so it's roughly 5 feet lower than the existing building when doing it compared to natural grade.
Okay, so,
Existing building. Stairwell?
Yeah, the existing, no, I'm talking, no, we're discussing the existing office building to the west, just to clarify your question.
it's there now.
Yeah, we're speaking the same, yeah.
Okay, so it's 5 foot lower, the new one is.
Plus or minus, yeah.
Okay. This wall, you're talking about this wall. So you're saying you're filling this in 3
You
feet.
mean the wall?
The wall to the southern extent of the property.
Gotcha.
Where we're the highest point of fill, maximum fill of 3 foot. What is the height of the current wall?
There is no current wall.
I thought this, you were adding to the current wall here.
No, we're adding to the current slope. There's an aggressive slope along the frontage of this site. Yeah, there's no existing wall.
So
There's a wall in the rear of the property that we're not adjusting.
Are you building a wall here?
That's correct.
What is the wall?
It's 2 to 3 feet in height.
No, what is the structure of the wall?
Oh, I don't think we've chosen the material yet. I'll have to talk to the applicant about that.
But it's not just filled slope over the roots of the trees that will.
No,
fill
that's
the trees.
that's not what it'll be. It'll
Is
be
it-
retained either the same way with a tie wall like you see in the back.
Like
It
a
could be
grass wall,
could
you're
be
saying?
a block wall, or it could be a poured concrete. That's a little expensive. We probably won't do that. I would anticipate either something that mimics it or a block wall.
You said earlier that your landscape architects have done a study that trees won't grow along the property line.
Yeah. So
This is south on this drawing, correct?
yeah. So anything
I'm
along
not-
the
I'm-
so
I'm not done asking questions. These are the shadows of these trees, correct? Right here. There's a shadow of a building. There's shadows of these trees in a digital aerial photograph, correct? So that means the sun, like we know, goes this way, correct? So
yeah,
explain to me how trees wouldn't grow in this sunny patch that's on the part of the easement of their property, right here, along all these houses.
okay, so again, I'm speaking on
Especially this side, I would say, and all of this side
Yeah,
gets
so-
glaring sun.
I am speaking on behalf of my landscape architect. So this is not. I'm not a landscape architect.
Okay.
We
Well,
had him.
I think you may have misspoke because there's a ton of sun.
Well, no. The point is that our landscape architect visited the site, visually inspected those areas, and if you were to plant buffer plantings inside of the existing tree canopy, regardless of light, I don't know what the exact mechanism
Right.
is, but he is directed that those trees will not thrive because it's underneath the existing canopy of it, regardless of light. So that's coming from a professional licensed landscape architect through me.
But if
Right.
you had.
Doesn't want to
town
spend money on
forester
trees.
Come out and say the same thing.
And that was something
if
that
the
we
forest-
offered.
Right, so if the forester said the trees would thrive, is
Then he
the
gets the
applicant
trees.
okay with adding the trees?
Absolutely they
Whatever the
are,
forester
yes.
would say, we do.
Okay, so they're saying that if the.
So if I hire an arborist or an.
Well, the town would hire, the
Oh,
town
you
and
guys
the
do,
forester.
okay.
They come out.
So independent.
Well, it's the towns.
As part of our
Okay.
discussions and responses to your board engineer, we offered to walk the site with your forester so we could identify those exact areas. To just throw things arbitrarily on the plan wasn't worth anybody's
No,
time.
what we offered, if the board sees fit to approve this, we would, as a condition of that approval, we would say the township forester gets the final say on the plantings. Now, if he orders the plantings and our forester was right and they die, that's something different.
Right.
So, but
Okay.
we'll do whatever he wants.
Excuse me, sir. Do you mind explaining how many parking spaces are
No, we-
provided?
The microphone.
He's here,
Okay.
I'm an engineer too, I can answer.
You'll get a chance.
Ask me.
I'm not gonna
ask.
He's in the middle of
You cannot.
asking his
You'll have a
questions.
chance.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let him finish asking his questions.
So are you aware with these parking spots right here?
Yes,
These parking spots right here? This is a head-end parking, right?
that's correct.
And these are existing parking spots?
Yes,
And people park here all the time for the existing office?
I would assume so, yes.
And when they have their headlights on, you stated you don't think they hit the houses
No,
behind?
he didn't state that.
Oh, you said when they park here,
Yes.
you thought there was adequate tree cover that they wouldn't shine into the
Yeah,
houses?
so just for a clarification there. So those parking spaces are not in front of a wall. The wall occurs in front of our
A
development.
wall this tall?
It extends
3 to 5 feet.
somewhere between 3 and 5 feet as you move along that. Obviously, the wall is variable. And then in addition to that, there is the wooded buffer that is between the top of the wall and the property line.
So I live here, and these shine right into my house.
Yeah, and that
So
parking-
these ones are gonna shine right into this house.
So for clarification, and
Just saying.
and I'm not discounting what you're saying, for clarification, the parking spaces that are there today that people are parking in are on the same elevation as the area in the woods behind them. The wall begins and extends in front of our parking spaces.
Where we're proposing,
Yeah, so you're saying you have to reduce this grade, which is currently about 6% to 3%, right? So that's gonna extend this grade roughly 50 feet. So show me where the wall ends, because that doesn't quite jive.
It's actually kind of a coincidence in what
you
we're
need a
talking
mic,
about.
Paul.
You need a mic.
So it's kind of a coincidence in what we're talking about because the wall ends right at the limit of those parking spaces. So at this point, you're basically at level, and then that wall increases to, I think it's about 5 feet as you get over here, so 3 to 5 feet in that area. But exactly as you're saying, these parking spaces are the same level as this driveway, or the same level as this ground.
So at that, if it goes from 0 to 5 feet, here it's 2 feet tall in front of these parking spaces. That's how slopes work.
I can give you exact figures.
That's how slopes work. If it's a 3% grade, that's what you said, maximum for RVs, then this from here to here, if it's a 0 to 5 foot change, in the middle it's 2.5. So my point is, the lights will shine into the houses.
So at that direct
Kid
point,
glove this stuff, guys.
at the direct point that,
Asking questions and giving testimony. Just stick to asking.
I am asking questions, I'm just like correcting the answers a little bit.
Well, that's testimony, so you try.
So am I just supposed to, can I keep asking questions?
You'll have a chance
Okay.
to give testimony.
Thank you, I was gonna ask that question too.
so quickly to clarify that question as far as the height of the wall at that point, I'll just give you an exact figure so we're not speaking in generalities. Directly in front of those loading spaces that we're discussing, the parking lots, the parking lot elevation is roughly elevation 675. The top of wall elevation in that exact location is roughly 680. So there is a 5-foot wall in front of that.
At which point is it 5 foot tall?
Directly in front of the loading spaces that we were discussing, where the headlights were.
This space?
No,
Or this space?
we're talking about the central loading spaces where the only spaces where somebody would back in.
The parking.
No, central loading.
Covered
That is
loading zone.
It's these two spaces that are intended for backed-in loading. There's a 5-foot wall in front of that, in that location. It ramps up pretty quickly in this area.
So Paul, you're indicating there's a 5-foot wall in front of the loading parking spaces.
Are there topographic plans for this
There
this
are,
lot?
and I'm reading directly off my grading plans, yes.
Is this available to us?
Was that part of your submission?
Yes, in the submitted site plan on sheet C5.
Okay, so it's part of the submitted plans, and you're welcome to come and review those. Do you have any other questions?
I do. The lights you're putting in, are they the same as the lights that are there now? The lights that are there now, I'm sorry, I'm gonna testify.
They're not.
Are they the same as the lights that are there now?
They are not the same.
What's different?
These are state-of-the-art LED lights. I'm honestly not sure what the existing lights are
Along the
today.
retaining wall?
Yeah, along the retaining wall, I am not sure what type of lights those are, but we are proposing, anything that's proposed as an area light for our site are state-of-the-art LED downlights.
What's a downlight?
It's just a full cutoff light, so there's no visible fixture from the sides or the top of that light. It's like essentially a box that shines directly down.
Is there a hood on that light?
There are, the way that the LED lights work, they are angled away. It's a backlight shield on it, but it's different than the boxy lights you saw in the metal halides and those big boxes with the big shields. They're more easily controlled with the LEDs. So it's a more sleek design, I would say.
All right, that's all I have for now.
Is there anyone else that would like to?
Do we have this? Can you just identify yourself again, please, Pam?
Erin Boots King, 77 Flintlock Road in Morris Plains, right behind. So with the lights, so these are going to have 18-foot lights that are going to be LED, which we know LED lights are like the bright light. They're not going to have any of that. Like in our neighborhood, we have like those yellow lights. Is it going to be a yellow light or is it going to be a bright white light?
So what we have proposed as part of this application is we are proposing a 30K light temperature, which is the warmest of the LEDs. So they go from 5,000, which is like a warehouse use, 4,000, 4,500 is typical for commercial, and then 3,000 Kelvin, which is proposed here, is the warmest you can get in LED lights.
For an industrial site? For an industrial site?
Not for an industrial site. For any LED light, the warmest color you can get to is 3,000 Kelvin, which is the proposal here.
And then these lights are, so that facility is open 7 days a week until 9 p.m., except for on Sundays. So these lights are going to be on until about 10 p.m. because the people have to leave. You're going to have the lights on for them to get in and out of the facility.
Yes, that's correct.
So we're going to have lights on until 10 p.m., LED lights like this until 10 p.m., 365 days a year.
Whenever the operation is open.
Are they open during holidays?
I do not have knowledge of that.
Do people have access to their storage facility on holidays?
I am not the witness to ask that question. I do not know.
Okay, so that's something I would be interested in because with the, pre-existing lights, it's bright. I know. Okay. Let's see here. For the RVs, and the boats and you have the architectural engineer that's coming in. So with the RVs and the boats that don't have to have the anything on them to protect them, what's going to prevent like puddling and the mosquito buildup and things like that? Is there anything about that? Like when the puddling and how you have puddling water, you're going to have mosquitoes.
You're saying inside their boat or whatever it is? Yeah, I think that's a maintenance issue for the owner of that vehicle.
Oh, that's going to be our issue. And then, let's see here. I still didn't get, are you aware of the storage facility, what it's going to look like, the building itself?
We'll have an architect.
Yeah,
Okay,
there are
I wanna
colorized
ask that.
renderings that you'll see as part of this application.
And then this building, I know that the building that's there is a 3-story building. The office building is 3 stories, right? Okay. And then this building, you want to make it 4 stories?
It is 3 stories above ground. So from a visual standpoint, it will be the same number of stories as the office building, and it will be shorter than the office building.
So why wouldn't you just build a building that is 2 stories and then you would be within the ordinance?
We're asking for 3.
Yeah, we're asking for 3 because and again, our planner is going to get into the proofs of why, but the best engineering alternative from a site design standpoint is that the 3-story building is consistent with the remainder of the site, and that's why we've proposed it. And is compliant with the height restriction. It's just a difference of the stories, which is 2.5 versus 3.
But you're going down 1.
There is going to be 1 story underground. Yes, that's correct.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, it's a basement.
You'll take an elevator down, or
Yes, you'll take an elevator to all the stories, yes.
up and down.
And then I have a question about the, so you said that if you guys decide to put up trees and then they die and then like shrugs, is that like what would?
There are, and you're probably your attorney and your board engineer, there are landscaping guarantees that anything we plant, the owner is responsible to replace in a certain period of time, so. Right.
Because we don't want to be, okay. So if we have an opaque fence, like what is that going to be, like a chain link fence with all those little things through it? What's the proposal on that?
Currently, we have a fence that is a chain link, like a black chain link, so
Right.
it kind of fades in the background. But the applicant is, as we've stated, is open to an opaque fence or board-on-board vinyl, something like that, that you couldn't see through.
And then what if like kids vandalize it, or if it gets vandalized by your people who are there, who's responsible for?
Obviously, in
taking
any
care of
case for that, that's a site maintenance issue, so it's certainly the responsibility of the management company as well as the ownership.
We also have a lot of deer, so are you guys taking that into consideration, like with things that would be able to thrive in that area because they do eat the plants? So that's something that you would have to.
Yeah, something certainly that our landscape architect takes into consideration. We have a benefit of what's an existing parking lot, so I don't think the animals are drawn to it now. And then we're going to put up a fence around it. Obviously, deer can get up in the air, but there's not going to be a lot of deer edible things located within the parking field.
That's my questions.
What's the hour?
Looks like we have one more in the...
Pretty soon, yeah, pretty soon. Mr. Clarkin?
Just make sure you use the microphone and ask questions. And just identify yourself again for the record, please.
Bernie Clark in Flintlock Road. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Did you say there was going to be no change to the buffer zone in the rear of the property?
That's correct. The existing buffer is maintained.
Then why are you, just read what's here.
I noticed for it if the buffer was not there. I noticed is the whole thing being a variance without the parking lot, because I couldn't find any plan showing the parking lot. I explained that. But you can go ahead and ask that same question. So let me cut you off.
Okay, let me try to find it again. Why are you requesting a variance that would reduce the rear view buffer area from 70 feet that is allowed to 21 feet as proposed?
We included it as a variance because we didn't have hard proof for a previous application at our fingertips because it was so long ago. So essentially, we're establishing in this application the existing edge of the development. We're not changing it. It's also the proposed edge, but that variance applies to an existing condition that we're maintaining.
You know that I've lived there long enough to remember when all this was built and how you can say, oh, I can't find.
Mr. Clarkin, question?
Why don't you look harder to find that the
Mr.
buffer was
Clarkin, I
there
did an
all
Oprah
along?
request, it came back nothing. So what do you, I'm not gonna go into the back.
You couldn't.
Dig through. I've been in this town long enough. I'm not gonna go in the back and dig through those
Mr.
files.
O'Neill, there's no back and forth. Are you finished
have
with
any
your
more-
question?
I'm not used to,
I understand, Mr. O'Neill. Any more questions, Mr. Clarkin?
Have you looked at the zoning restrictions that are attached to the deeds that I have and that you have, where things about the buffer is clearly spelled out?
And as I said before, whether there's a settlement agreement or a judgment or a deed restriction is not for this board to determine.
I asked the question if he had looked there.
Did you look?
And
I did.
And it's there. I
It's
can see
not.
it.
It's waived, 1975. Your name is on the judgment,
I know that.
so you know you waived it.
I didn't waive it.
Okay, that's
All right.
That's why we're not discussing that now.
Okay, it's,
It's not for this forum. Do you have any other questions of this witness?
I can't understand why they're asking for, that.
Mr. O'Neill, it's 5 to 10 and,
Why don't we just see if there's
Okay.
anybody else with
Yes,
a question?
anybody else have any
Anybody else has any
questions?
questions of this witness? Doesn't look like it.
okay. Mr. O'Neill, it's 5 to 10.
It does seem like a good point to stop.
Please, thank you.
What we got?
You have to be carried to your next available meeting.
Yep, it will be October 21st,
7:30?
7:30.
With no further notice, correct? And Mr. O'Neill with extensions, please?
Through the end of October?
Yes.
You said October 21st?
So
Yes,
21st.
October 1st.
So if there's anybody in the audience, please understand that this application is being carried to October 21st at 7:30, and you will not get any additional notices. This is your notice. Yes, you'd have to vote on it.
May we have a motion, please, and a second?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. O'Neill, October 21st at 7:30 in the evening.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn, Chairman?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, thank you.
That's always saying. Oh, boy. Hours. After my door opens.
Wow.